here for a second while I make sure everything's running. Yeah, it's not running. Okay. Yeah, hang on a sec.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, hang on a sec.
So that just got really loud.
We are live on YouTube, but yeah, Instagram doesn't want to do it. Okay, here we go. All right, we're live, Eric.
All right.
It's official.
Sawadee-ka.
All right. Yeah, good to see you, my friend.
Thank you, man. Good to see you too. It's been a long time, almost 2 years now.
Oh yeah, well, we miss you out here in the U.S., buddy. Yeah, we used to get to see you all the time. For those who don't know and are just tuning in, this is my good friend Eric Miner of HBK Genetics. Eric's a longtime grower here in the States, from California, and just made the move over there to Thailand a couple of years ago with his wife. And yeah, we're just, we miss you, buddy. You were a big part of our life here for a long time, and big part of the events that we were doing. You're a big part of our life still. We grow your strains. I smoke your strains almost every day, and you're here with us, brother, every day. We think about you and we talk about you. And you just sent us a big box of seeds. We're gonna have all your new genetics with us this coming weekend at the Ridge Sesh and Cured Cup, and we're gonna talk about your genetics tonight. So I'm excited to get the lowdown. You've got a bunch of exciting stuff in this box, and we'll run through that. But yeah, how you been, brother? How are you? How's it hanging?
I'm okay. It's been an interesting ride for sure, to say the least. I've been here for almost 2 years now. Took a long time to get acclimated to not so much the environment, but just the culture and the lifestyle and the differences in how things are, but also noticing all the similarities to things here compared to where I grew up on the Mexican border. There's a lot of similarities between Mexico and Thailand with certain things, with obviously chicken fighting and actual people fighting, and the transit system and the way people live, and the food. There's a lot of similarities in the food, even though it's completely different. They still use a lot of the same ingredients. They just use it differently. And then also just trying to get used to being married after 15 years to a woman that comes from a different culture. So I had to realize that my
Oh, you froze up there for a second, buddy.
So am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. So yeah, it's been good. I haven't done a lot of traveling, so I haven't gone very far. I've just been focused on work and trying to live my life. I came here to retire and get away from everything. Even though I'm still involved with everything, I try to not go to the events as much and just try to stay to myself here, So yeah, that's what's going on with me. So I'm good.
Yeah, Eric, give us a little bit of the timeline of what's happened in Thailand, because the last time I was over there was 2017. It was still very illegal. Buying cannabis, possessing cannabis was very sketchy. It was definitely around and available, but it was very hush-hush. It was something smoked and enjoyed in secrecy. And a lot has changed since then, and things are changing even more so now. So give us a little bit of the time. What's happened and where we stand today.
Okay, so 2 years ago, obviously, they changed the law and they went full legalization. There was somewhat of a small medical situation here prior to that, but it was pretty well kept amongst the medical community. Not very many people had access to it. And then they decided with the change of parties, with the political party, the new people that came into power wanted to go full legalization. And they didn't actually set a lot of regulations. They left a lot of open ends. And that kind of left the door open for it to be the Wild West here. And it got overpopulated, oversaturated, the market crashed, and the foreigners started to dominate. And so the new party that has come into power in the last year has decided to pull that back. And they want to go back to a medical situation. And it looks like it might happen sooner than later, but it depends on who you talk to. So depending on which political party the person follows or what their financial situation is, kind of dictates what their response to your question would be. Myself as just a foreign man married to a Thai woman, I have to just kind of sit back and watch and wait and see what happens. Where there are other entities here that have infinite amounts of financial input and will probably be okay and still continue. And then there are a lot of entities here that are primarily foreign that are not following any of the guidelines, that will continue to not follow the guidelines, and they will be the ones that everybody will go after and probably remove. But there was another big activism push down in Chonburi a couple days ago, where a lot of the shop owners went down to voice their concerns. And with tourism on the line right now in Thailand, and cannabis driving a lot of that tourism coming from Australia and the UK and Southeast Asia, there's a lot of money on the line. So the recreational side could stay, but I think it could be reduced down to more of a Prop 215 type situation, where it's going to be a card system where the government and the districts are getting their cut, and law enforcement has more opportunity to regulate it, and then they'll move forward. If they get their way they want it now, it'll be a strict cannabis medical situation where only Thai people have access, and it'll be strictly regulated to like heavy doctor visits to make sure that they actually meet the requirements to do that. But like I said, it depends on who you talk to. You know, Greenhouse Seeds just opened up its 4th large shop here, and Arjan's not slowing down anytime soon. So if you look at it as a whole, just have to kind of wait it out. But if they do pass it, we could go back to mandatory prison sentences for cannabis, you know, and yeah, it could really suck to be in a prison over here for having weed. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, things really changed quickly. It was such a green rush, and big money flooded in there. And like you said, the greenhouses and all these other big cannabis companies that we know around the world really descended on Thailand. And even though that law was written with some pretty strict stuff about foreigners not being able to own companies, you know, that stuff's always easily circumnavigated. We've seen that in plenty of states here with localism laws in place. Colorado had some of that. Yeah, pretty ridiculous, man, to let that industry blow up so quickly. And it seemed like the government was very supportive at the beginning. I remember they were giving away tens of thousands of plants, and you know, really high hopes that they were going to be a leader in the medical industry. And fuck, what happened, dude?
Okay, so what it was is there was a big push to have Thai farmers grow a lot of cannabis for medical and for export. And what a lot of Thai farmers realized was growing outdoor cannabis here in Thailand is incredibly difficult and incredibly expensive. And a lot of those farmers that got the free plants decided they didn't want to do it anymore. And some of the Thai farmers did start to catch on, and they were like, oh, okay, let's move on with this. But then the foreign entities came in and dumped massive amounts of flour. A lot of it was imported, and it crushed the market. And so now a big part of the push to go back to medical is to remove a lot of the recreational weed that has ruined the market here. But if you look at it, there's two sides of weed. You have the foreign market at tourism areas, and they want high quality, good grade weed, or they want cheap weed so they can buy a lot while they're here and smoke it freely. And then you have the commercial side, which is bulk for cheap, pennies on the dollar, but you need hundreds of kilos. And if you're in between that area, there's not a lot of room for you because the buyers have set the price and the price is really low and you have to have a lot of weed. And so, yeah, there'll be a shift over the next 6 months and we'll see what happens. That's all I can say, is we'll see what happens. I'm optimistic, but either way, whichever way it goes, I'm prepared to either come back to the States or maybe take a job doing something else if we get to that point. So.
Yeah, and that government has been so unstable. I mean, in another 6 months, we could see another regime change and it just swing back the other way. I mean, isn't that true? I mean,
well, it's not that unstable, actually. It would be the next election, and the next election would determine which party gets a hold of that situation. But this party that took over kind of said from the beginning, we don't want this. And the general Thai population is still kind of anti-cannabis. It's more like 60-30 or 60-40, I would say. And especially the older generation is not real too keen with it. And so, like I said, yeah, when the next political party comes around, depends on if this party still maintains their power or whether a new party comes in or whether the old party gets it back. But they do kind of work together. They didn't come in right away and say, we're stopping this immediately. They decided to work with the old party a little bit and say, okay, let's figure this out. And they are looking at their options. So, yeah.
Would you come back to the States if the right opportunity presented itself? Maybe somebody watching this will be need
yeah. I would. But I would like to say this is my home now, so I would travel back here periodically, maybe for a couple months at a time, in between. But yeah, I am definitely looking for some opportunities to see what happens. If there is anybody out there that needs like a harvest manager or even just a regular general farm manager, I would be available.
Right on. Yeah, I highly recommend Eric. Eric helped me up on my old farm in Mendo many years, and during harvest and during springtime, and building hoogles and running saws. And I almost dropped many a tree on Eric in the forest.
Yeah. Now my forte is kind of just being an overall manager. I'm getting kind of older in my age, so the heavy manual labor is not quite as much as what I can do, but yeah, I definitely know how to handle crews, that's for sure. And I have saved quite a few farms on harvest over the years, and helped them stay productive and financially viable. So yeah, I am available if anybody is interested. They can always hit me up directly here on Instagram or get a hold of you and have you get a hold of me.
Absolutely.
So, thank you.
Hit up Eric if you got opportunity, even if you just need some help with some consulting, some breeding questions, hit Eric up. He's a wealth of knowledge, taught me a ton about breeding, really helped me improve my game and answer some serious questions for me. So we're at this moment in history where all these experts are available and for hire. Take these folks up on on these opportunities, y'all, and support a good guy like Eric in the process.
You know, I've actually learned a few new things since I've been here in Thailand too, dealing with the humidity and the heat. I was already kind of ready for the heat coming from spending 20 years in Fresno. The humidity was a little bit to deal with, and some of the pathogens and funguses and diseases that I've seen here have been a little different. And the pest management can be a little different here. The mites here, whatever spider mite problem you think you had in the States is nothing compared to what I see here. So, yeah, little steroided out mites, man, they're tough. That's the biggest problem. That and the fungal diseases that come from the moisture in the air have been really tough. But yeah, getting a handle on those have helped. So I got some more knowledge in my head now.
You know, as we prepare for the Cured Cup, we've been talking a lot about curing. We had a good conversation with some farmers last night, and you know, I was talking about how coming just from Humboldt and Mendo to Lake County, where it's so much hotter in the fall, and how much differently my techniques have had to be adjusted. And what's that been like for you moving to the tropics as far as drying and curing herbs? I know our brethren in Hawaii always had that problem of how do you get the herb dry once it's actually harvested, you know?
Take it inside and dry it inside in a controlled room with air conditioning and dehumidifiers. Honestly, it's the only way you can dry here. The humidity and the heat here will turn your weed golden brown within like 10 days if you leave it outside or try to dry it in a room does not have humidification. The first outdoor crop I did here, I pulled off a decent little crop. It was a small crop. It was only 2 pounds, 3 pounds. It wasn't that much. Took it up in the house, hung everything up, and I shit you not, the second night of the drying process, we lost power. The whole neighborhood, we lost power for, I think, 6 hours, 7 hours. Came back on for 6 hours, and then it went off for another 20 hours, and then was back and forth for like 5 days like that.
Yeah.
Weed was ruined. Immediately, I just had to like, okay, throw this out. Oh, good. Wow. But as long as you have a controlled room, the air conditioning units and the dehumidifiers here work amazing. I can keep it, I usually run like I try to run like 50% on my humidifier and usually like 65 to 70 on the AC unit. And I'll set that. We have mini splits here, so I'll set it to dry. And yeah, I've been doing like 10-day dry. And then the curing process here is a little different though. You got to get everything basically trimmed as fast as possible. Only pull out what you need as you're trimming it, small batches, and keep it all in the refrigerators until you're done, and then put it in the freezer and just keep it in there, and break it out as needed, because you don't want your bags sitting around here, even in just a regular AC room. It'll kind of suck the life out of them. So the terps will die pretty fast but if you keep them in the freezer, no problem. I've got weed in there right now from like 6 months ago, and pull it out and it's fire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Is the power there that unstable where you're at in Thailand? Does that happen pretty often?
It can be this time of year. So we just went into what's called like kind of the early rainy season. And the problem is they don't really trim the trees for the power lines here like they do in the United States. They have a utility company that trims away stuff as needed, and the transformer here pop a lot. So yeah, we lost power here 2 days ago for like 2 hours, and it came right back on. My wife called and they said they had lost 5 transformers out on the main road. Somebody ran into a power pole and it fucked the whole line up, and it was raining hard, so we just kind of had to wait them out.
Yeah.
But
That's
Yeah.
Thailand. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, Eric, give our listeners here a little rundown of your breeding history, how you got into cannabis. Doesn't need to be a big one, but give a little summary how you got into cannabis and then breeding specifically, and bring us
Um,
from date to today.
well, growing up as a child, my dad and his best friend had a little crop on our property. They used to grow about 20 or 30 plants. And when I was like 5, 6, 7 years old, I'd go down there and help my dad with watering in the morning before he'd go to work, pulling hoses. Um, and then when I got older and my dad stopped growing, I ended up picking it up in high school, probably like 10th, 11th grade. 10th grade was my first crop that I grew, like 5 plants in the backyard. And um, early on, there was no seeds. The only seeds you could get was brickweed seed, and I hated brickweed. I didn't want to grow that, which I did end up growing a ton of it, and I hated it. But um, I ended up linking up with a friend of mine in the town called Pine Valley, this guy named Chris, and he was early on. He got his card in like '96, right? Like one of the first people to get a card. And he was traveling all over Southern California, buying all this shop rec weed or shop weed, and he was collecting bag seed. And he gave me a bunch of seed, and so I popped all that seed, and it was really good fire weed. So I had some purple hair indicas and some really nice fireweed. And so I had males and females, and I decided to start making my own seed so I could continue growing this really bomb weed. And um, after I harvested all that seed, I had somebody offer me a bunch of money to buy the seed. And I was like, oh, fuck, okay, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. And so I started producing seed early on, like 90, 91, 92. By 94, I was already like making some bulk seed and selling it to some farmers that were south of the border. And then 96, I took a long break and I didn't grow again until like mid 2000, like 4 to 5, 6 era. I kind of started coming back. And then by 2008, 9, I started making a lot of seed again. And then 2010, 11, I branded myself. It was HBK Genetics. Got online and started pushing my brand. And since then, I've won several cups with my genetics, um, and been pretty successful with some of the farmers that I've dealt with over the years, not only in California, but across the nation as well as worldwide. And so, yeah, I've been fairly successful, but I just never went to the big level of being known as one of the big guys. But I've worked with a lot of the big guys, and a lot of the big guys use my stuff. And a lot of the hash makers in Northern California most certainly know some of my strains. So, yeah, that's pretty
Absolutely.
much what it is.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thanks for that history. Yeah, you're much respected in our circle, especially here in Northern California. We all love your genetics. My personal favorite being the Chili Verde, been a big staple in my collection for a bunch of years now. I'm rolling up some Chili Verde by Biscotti right now. Been one of my
Nice.
favorites the last couple of years.
Yeah, that was a good one. That
Bro,
was a that was actually that biscotti birdie was made by Tony Clay or
Wyatt.
Wyatt Terps 420. He made that,
Yeah.
and then
It,
so
it,
he did a really good job on those selections.
Tell us a little bit about that Chili Verde because it's such a unique terpene. Whenever I share a jar with people, it just blows their socks off. It's my everyday smoke. The Chili Verde 1936 has been my favorite the last few years. And the last 2 years, we've grown this Chili Verde by Biscotti and this Chili Verde by Jungle Cake. And these three are pretty much in my daily rotation.
Yeah,
And
all three of those are really good. The Chili Verde was made, God, 12 years ago, I think now. I made that in 2010 or 11. I released it at the 2012 Emerald Cup, and yeah, it's a key lime pie lavender, and that lavender was a collaboration with Ringo Lawrence before he died from Soham Seeds. Ringo was on the lavender kick, and I was already running the SoCal Lavender out of San Jose, and we decided to do a lavender project, and then he passed away, and then yeah, the Chili Verde kind of got put on the side for God, almost 10 years. Nobody, like I sold some seeds of it here and there. That was kind of one of my main breeding seed lines that I sold, but I didn't really think a lot about it until John Ipum Papa, he brought it out, and then during the Redwood fires, it got lost, and then that cut got out, and then that cut ended up going down back to the Central Valley to Cali Gold. Oh God, I can't believe I can't remember his name. But anyways, a farm down in Yuba County won the Emerald Cup with it, and then it blew up. And then yeah, everybody had to have it. But unfortunately, I had a couple distributors like Dark Heart Nursery that really just destroyed the name of the Chili Verde because of the cuts that they put out that were sick or not the cut of the Chili Verde. And so then it kind of went by the wayside a little bit. And then it came back because it started winning hash cups. Clayo 420 won the Ego Clash with it in a combination with Honey Banana. And then I think the next year it took third or fourth from Dabbing Ninja. And yeah, it's not a dumper, but it's some of the best quality hash you're going to find. And that 36 cut that you run, that's a Chili Verde F5. So I went through 100 phenos and the number 19 to the number 36. And then I just call it the 36. And it's like this heavy pineapple gas, like fuel pineapple, but just loud. And when you touch it, it just overpowers everything else you touch after that for like a half hour. And yeah, it grows really good. It's super like heat resistant. It has really good nutrient uptake, but it can be a little finicky at times if you don't treat it right. And so some growers that don't have a really good A game can get frustrated with it from time to time. But the guys that know how to grow, man, they fucking make good money with it and they love it. And, you know, growers like yourself, they keep it around for a little bit. So personally, lately I've been running some of the Chili Z crosses. I'm running this trifecta right now, which is Chili Verde. So it's Skittles, the Chili Verde, and then that was made by Wyatt Terps. And then I went through and hunted out this it's like burnt rubber Skittles Chili Verde Fino. It's like super just gassy, musky, grapey, fucking like burnt rubber. And I bred that to the GMO, made FEMs from that, and I call that trifecta. There was like 20 crosses that I made with that Chili Z on FEMs, and a lot of them are really good. The Mule Fuel Z is another one that I've been running quite a bit of, and that trifecta is super dank. I've got 3 bitchin' phenos right now. I've got a grape, like a liquid grape pheno, and I got straight gas, and then I got more of like this earthy fuel one. And I was doing some work with some grape rosé butter, which are also available on the list. That strain's phenomenal. If you're running outdoors in Central or Northern California, that plant throws down, and it's super frosty indoors. It's really got this amazing grape rosé thing going on. And then what else? Oh, the peanut butter cake mac. I've been doing a bunch of work with the peanut butter cake mac. A couple years ago when I was in Comchi, I realized that peanut butter cake mac was really PM resistant. So when I got here, I started running some, and I had a lot of good luck with it here during the rainy season. And I did some femmes with that, and those are phenomenal too. They just throw down as such big, chunky, fat plants, and they don't really mold out like you would expect them to. And they wash really well. And of course, the Diamond Master, still running a bunch of the Diamond Master and Black Diamond stuff. Um, the Black Diamond line, you'll get a lot of like sours, like really nice sours, or you'll get some really nice chocolates, like chocolate OG, like a really earthy OGs. And those plants throw down too because of that Black Line Reserve, and there's just such big plants. And then what else? The Diamond Master, yeah, really happy with those. I did a grape cakes, which is also on the list, and I really like that one. I ran that indoors, and at first I was kind of like, oh, I don't know, but man, it's such a heavy hitting indica, and it tastes so good. They get such nice dark colors. That one I've been really happy with. And
Well, let's run through this box because you sent me some seeds. I'm gonna have these available at the Ridge Sesh. Let's just run through because then you can really get into it a little bit. I already took a pack of the trifecta for myself. I'm all about that. Potential hashers, especially a GMO chili Z mix. You sent us some yummy snacks. We already ate most of them. Okay, you sent us some fun lizards. This is how you know this authentic HBK from Thailand Genetics. We have the gecko. We've got the head made by your lovely wife.
Yeah, got some headbands, custom made headbands from Thai print.
These are actually
one of them I think is Malaysian print. The other two are Thai print. And my wife busted those out for me. So working in the farm, keep the sweat out of your eyes.
Tomorrow was opening them up, and they were super nice. All right, let's get into these regs first.
Mm-hmm.
The grape cakes. I grabbed a pack of this also because I asked you what were going to be the good hashers, and this was one of the ones you listed for me. Tell us about the grape cakes. We got this beautiful new HBK Thailand packaging with the beautiful elephants on there. There's your grape cake regs. Tell us about the cake.
The grape cake. So that was grape pie to grape pie cherry nor, and those grape pie cherry nors that came from Leo from when I was living up by your house, and Leo was working down there with Spencer and them at AJ's place. And that cherry nor is cherry limeade to Chem Dog, and he hit that to the grape pie. And then I went through a couple packs. I think I went through 3 packs, and I picked out a really nice batch. And I took it back to grape pie with the cut that I got from Wyatt Turks. And yeah, there's some really interesting stuff in there. I found some really nice gassy phenos. I found some really nice cherry musk or cherry gas phenos. And then there was a couple really oddballs that come from the grape pie in there. And one of them was this like peanut butter. Like when I was growing it, it smelled all through flower. It smelled exactly like Jif peanut butter. And then at the very end, it kind of changed a little bit more to grape peanut butter, almost like a grape peanut butter sandwich. And then after harvest and through the cure, now it's got this really nice cherry grape peanut butter musk to it. And it's super heavy indica. When I smoke it, I just fall asleep immediately. And it's a little bit slower to grow. They're a little bit shorter, stockier plants. And you kind of have to thin them a little bit because they'll get super bushy like a heavy, shorter indica. But man, they throw down on the yield. I did a 4x6 table because I did larger plants. And out of that 4x6 table, I pulled it was two 600-watt LED lights, and I think I pulled almost 2 kilos out of there. Just under, but it was about just under about 4 pounds, so a little under 2 kilos. Yeah, the plants really threw down. They were like nice, chunky, and they've got this really nice undergreen with dark purples on top, and it dry sifted at 100 micron, like it's really good. I didn't expect it to dry sift at 100, and then it washed really good. And the dry sift at 100 on cured flour tacked up immediately. Even just trying to get it out of the tray, it was already tacking up, and that was in a 68-degree room. So pretty happy. I haven't run rosin out of it, so I can't tell anybody what my rosin returns are on some of these newer strains, but the hash returns on the water wash have been doing very well.
Nice. Nice. All right, we got a couple diamond strains here. We got the double diamond. Nice about the double diamond.
Double diamond, that's black diamond master to black diamond male, diamond master female. So the black diamond tends to be a little larger, bushier, more gassy, but softer budded plants. And the diamond master usually grows like a traditional Christmas tree with rock hard nugs, usually more muskier side. And so I'm just trying to blend those two into more of a behemoth master kush mega plant that dumps well on wash. When I washed the diamond master the last couple of days, getting huge returns on that. And I like to use it to blend because it's not as terpy, and I'm hoping some of that gas would come through and kind of seeing some of that. So that's what the double diamonds are. Those are an F1, so you could get a little bit of everything out of those.
Yeah, I remember when I first met you and was starting to learn about your strains and starting to grow your strains and the Diamond Master. You were always talking about the Diamond Master, how that was your best strain. It was totally underrated. And I'm just stoked to see you still got all these incredible crosses of it. And,
yeah,
I totally agree, man. I love the Diamond Master. And
yeah, the Diamond Master a couple years ago when I was living in Redway with Wyatt Terps. We sent a bunch of that material up to Cold Gold, and they did a blend of Diamond Master, Cushman's Great Pie, and they were calling it Diamond Crusher, and they did a dinner pairing.
Oh no, we might have lost you, Eric.
He ended up calling Tony. He was like, "We need more of the diamond."
Yeah,
so
for a second there, but you're back.
Yeah.
Super excited for these, bro. I got one more pack of regs here in this bunch. This is the Panama Red Mazar, and this is super exciting. Tamara already grabbed a pack of this because she's all about these land races, and I've got a lot of Mazar in our neighborhood up there in Palo Verde. The Mazar was the first big indica to be brought from Afghanistan to our neighborhood. It had all been narrow leaf sativas up till that point, and that Mazar was the game changer. That
I always loved the Mazar because I'm a true indica lover. I love it so much more than I let on sometimes, and so that Mazar came from Caleb at CSI. That's part of his Pirates edition. Those were, I guess, Tom Hill Preservation Mazars. And the Panama Red came from Snow High before he changed his name. I'm not sure what he calls himself now. But that's an older pack of Panama. I got those from Fallopian Philip Johnson like 10 years ago. And so when I got here to Thailand 2 years ago, I was like, oh, land race. I got to run land race stuff. So I popped a bunch of landrace stuff, and the Panama Red, actually out of the group of the Colombians, I had some Jamaican cross, and I had some Burmese, and I had some Thai. And that Panama Red really started throwing down, and I was like, okay. And it really went like, God, took me about 6-7 months before it went into flower here under 1212, and it was about 12 to 15 foot tall, true Christmas tree, super thin leafed, and I didn't really know what I wanted to cross it with, and I had that Mazar sitting over there that I was going to use in a Bubba Kush cross and some of that GMO crosses, and I said no, let's hit it with that Panama, and so that's kind of going to be an oddball F1s. If the true hybrids out of that could be super phenomenal. And then obviously you're going to have some really nice Panama stuff that comes out of it. And then you're going to get some really nice Mazar stuff that comes out of it as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're super excited for it. We're here in Lake County. We can grow these really long flowering sativas, late flowering sativas. So we're kind of growing more Colombians and Thais and these Chinese land races that we had really good success with this last year. Eric, here's some more bangers. The Chile Verde 1936. There it is. I'm bummed you're even letting these go. I kind of want to keep all these for myself.
And there's only, what I send, like 3 packs? Is there 3 or 5?
I thought I was the only one that had this for a little while.
Yeah, no, those are, I decided to let a few packs out. I need to make some money. I'm fucking broke. So there's no point in hoarding them forever, So,
man, I tried to pop some seeds this year that were 7 years old, and not one of them popped, and so it was heartbreaking. But yeah, people gotta grow these seeds.
Yeah, so everything that I sent you is all fresh stock. Even that 36 is from the beginning of last year. So, yeah.
Tell us about the pie rosé butter, because I grew some of your peanut butter pie breath a couple of years ago when I was up at Heartwood, and when you were getting into these peanut butter strains.
Yep. Yeah, so that grape pie rosé, that was something I was messing with when I was up in Comchi. That rosé, I kind of got a chance to do a little bit of pheno hunting out of about 120 rosés. I picked a fire one, and I was doing a little bit of S1ing, just kind of playing around with it. And then I had did the peanut butter cake mac to the rosé, and then we ended up the next season after that, I took it back to the grape pie again. And yeah, they're really good. Like, they're huge plants. And they smell so good. And they washed amazing. I was getting, I did like a 200-gram wash, and I got like 57, 60 grams back in return on those. So it's just pretty good. So yeah, I'm really happy with them. I think everybody else will be.
Oh yeah. Eric, there's that Diamond Master.
Yeah. So that was from a selection I did earlier this year, before kind of going into the hot season. And yeah, some real heaters right there. That was the number 1 to a number 3 male, and those are F4s on that selection.
Awesome.
Shorter, stockier plants. They'll get 10 feet if you push them outdoors. If you want them to, they're pretty self-supporting, super rock hard nugs, like just super dense. They can be a little PM touchy if you're in a really wet condition area, or if you have a lot of PM in your area. They can be a little finicky. But if you're in a dry climate or if you're indoors, they throw down. Or greenhouse, they do amazing.
Nice. Eric, we're getting into your femmes now. Let's talk about your fem line.
Yeah.
We got the Chili Z. Let's talk about the Chili Z. Everybody loves Z. It's been winning all the awards this year. People either love it or hate it, but it's definitely been making a surge in popularity, especially in European markets. We saw it win big time at the Ego Clash in Barcelona this year and a bunch of other competitions over there.
Yeah, you know, I thought it was kind of interesting that one of those entries was from Our Team Seeds, guys I used to work with like 12 years ago, and one of their entries was mango to Skittles to lavender. And I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. Like, sounds kind of familiar. But yeah, the Skittles is, yeah, love it or hate it. It's super popular. Everybody has a Skittles cross. I do too. The original was made by Wyatt Terps. He got that cut of Skittles from Tony Mendo, who was one of the guys that did that big hash cup at the McKeel a couple years ago. And yeah, it was a legit Skittles cut. Tony crossed it to a Chili F2, and then I took it. I hunted through, I don't know, 50 plants or something like that. And then I made a selection for a fem run. And yeah, it's like a burnt rubber Skittles, but with some grape fuel in there. They run really good. They're kind of shorter, stockier plants on the Skittles side. Little bit more self-supportive on some of the phenos, but some can be a little wonky, do that thing. But it's got amazing flavor. Washes really good. Not dumpers by any means, but still super amazing terps. I like the flower. I've been smoking the flower of it. We did a run of it here in Bangkok when I first got here, and I did 200 plants, all from seed, indoors, and they were all spot on. Everything was all even canopied. There was a little bit of variation in some of the flavor, but all the bag appeal on it was all baggable. And then we sent it down to the beach and Pattaya and Phuket, and they fucking loved it. We still get people hitting us up all the time for it, constantly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right on, bro. How about this purple tangy butter? Tell us about this.
Yeah, that purple tangy. So 3 years ago, I went back into my vault, and quite a few years ago, some people may remember him, OG Steve breeder OG Steve. He was an older dude down in the Central Valley, like silver hair, silver mustache, looked like kind of like a biker dude. But he was lived in Sacramento. He ran around with oh shit, Davenport. He was part of that Davenport crew, and he had that purple tangy, and it was fire. And I did a little bit of work with it, and I held on to it, and I had some S1s, and then I took that back into the peanut butter cake mac, and made S1s out of those. And yeah, it runs really good. I really like it. It's super dark. The peanut butter cake mac brings in some supersized structure into that same big tangy structure. The tangy still pulls some of that citrusy to it. So yeah, real happy with those.
Eric, I'm coming back. Keep talking.
No problem. I'm gonna smoke. Yeah, that whole line of Fems is either peanut butter cake mac or black diamonds. So
all right, and then the last one in this pile is is that diamond butter. Tell me about this diamond butter.
yeah, that's Diamond Master to peanut butter cake mac. The butter, I didn't have a real good name for anything, so I just started calling it peanut butter cake mac butter. I know there's some other butters out there, so it's probably confusing for some people, but yeah, Diamond Master to peanut butter cake mac. Those plants throw down. That's kind of a, those are S1s that I made here when I was in the States. I made regulars of the Diamond Master to peanut butter cake mac when I was in Comchi. Yeah, those plants super good.
Yeah,
Really nice, palatable flour for like like
yeah,
nugs, smoke.
yeah. I grew that peanut butter cake mac up at Heartwood. It was big buds, really nice, big
You
chunks.
know, and I gotta give a shout out to the guys that made that. So that was a collaboration between Humboldt Mantis and Ancient Tech. And Ancient Tech was the one that actually provided the mac to the peanut butter that he got from Mantis. And I'm not sure if Tech made it or Mantis made it, one of the two. But I ended up with a pack, two two packs, I think. And I went through them and I found a super nice gassy ass Beano that was just mega chunks. And I really liked it. And I've been running it ever since. Yeah. Now I went up to F5s before I made those S1s. So there's S1 straight peanut butter cake mac and then all the crosses of the peanut butter cake mac in there.
Awesome. All right, moving along here. Dirty Chili Z, Dirty Z by Chili Z.
Yeah, that's a really good one. So you know Lempire Farms down in what is it, Ukiah area?
Yep.
So their Lem OG to Skittles was what they made, and then I got that from Ryan, and then I took it to the Chili Z. So it's Lemon Z to Chili Z. So it's a double Z, but with the lemon and the chili. It throws down. I ran it here. It did amazing outside. I sent cuts of it to Chiang Mai to Pet, my friend Pet, 420 up there, and he fucking loves it. It threw down for him up there on the outdoor too. He really happy with it. Yeah, definitely worth getting into.
Hell yeah. Well, I love that lemon OG, so that's super
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah, I might have to
It
grab.
it can be a double flopper though, so you got to really trellis it though. It does grow fast and it grows big. That OG and the chili really bumped it up, and you'll get some really nice lemons out of it, like lemon to lemon candy to lemon grapes. Yes, really good.
Nice. Super excited about that one, man.
Mhm.
We've got Black Diamond Femmes, Black Diamond #1 Femmes.
Yep, yep. Black Diamond. That's I did a black diamond to black diamond. Those were F5s that I took to S1s. Those plants they get large, very large. So that's the Black Lime Reserve to Master Kush Triple OZ OG, and the Black Lime Reserve that I used came from Lane Tanoy. He used to be seeded 808 from Hawaii, and he gave me Black Lime Reserve F1 seeds that he got from Jackson at one point. And I went through those seeds and I found a straight Chem Dog black Chem Dog Reserve Pheno out of that Black Lime batch, and that's what I used to the Master Kush Triple OZ. And so there's really not a lot of lime in it. You really kind of have to dig through it. It's more sour, OG, sour diesel flavors or chocolate and earth fuels. Like, and when I say gas versus fuel, gas to me is more like the fumes of gas, whereas fuel is more like almost like diesel fuel or kerosene or even like liquid gasoline without the fumes. So there's a little bit of variation in it. And yeah, I really like that plant. And it washes well. It presses amazing too. I just posted some pictures of some press that a guy sent me the other day. It looked fire. And you know who else was running a bunch of that was James Brinkenhoff. He loved it too. And they had that full 50,000 square foot squishing processing facility up there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, a bunch of the Chili Verde this year, the 1936, the Biscotti, and the Jungle Cake Cross. We didn't have a ton of it. We actually had to do a mixed wash. While the yield wasn't huge, the resin is very tasty. Super yummy wash. Really happy with it. I might dab a little bit while we're here hanging out.
Yeah, you know that's the thing with the chili verde is it's known for being amazingly flavorful. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's known for being one of the best flavors on the scene, but it gives lower returns. So a lot of guys tend to stay away from it unless they're going to go full on and make some really unique special batch stuff. I heard Brandon, third gen, runs a shit ton of it now. The dude down there in Ukiah at what's the name of that damn club right there off the freeway? They've been selling a ton of clones of the chili. So it's still getting out there, you know. And my buddy Dabbing Ninja, he took a third or fourth place 2 years ago at the Ego Clash. He still loves it. He hunts through a lot of them all the time. And he's got a ton of them. Super good.
He's gonna be vending with us at the Ridge Sesh this coming Saturday.
Awesome. Good. He's a good kid. You know, I go way back with him, back to Fresno. We used to vend together 10 years ago, like almost known each other for a long time. So, yeah.
All right, bro. We're in the home stretch here. We got the black chili Z, black CZ.
Black chili Z. Yeah, that's black. That's the black diamonds to chili Z. When I was making those fems, I figured chili Z was already a fem line. Let's just hit it with some black lime reserve Master Kush OG fem pollen and see what we get out of there. And I ran some, and yeah, they're actually really good. I really liked them. It brought more of the gas and more of the structure and size to those chili Z's out of it. So you know the chili Z was a good breeder. I did a big batch. You know, Ryan gave me a bunch of vetted out clones before I went to Thailand, and I did a bunch of chili Z crosses, and everything that I hit with that chili Z on those fem lines all turned out amazing. You know, I did a Bubba, and I did Mother's Milk, and I did Dirty, and I did a Lavender, which I didn't let out. Did a Purple Urkel. I did GMO and Honey Bananas and SFV, and there was a chemistry one, and forgetting Mule Fuel. And you know, out of all those ones, and Apple Tarts, all the Chili Z, and all of those turned out amazing. I really like them all. And LA Kush Cakes, that was the other one too. But that Mule Fuel Chili Z is fire. So stinky, gassy, chemi, nasty. Oh, I love it. I haven't been letting that one out yet because I'm reworking it.
Hey, there's none of that in here, Eric. I want to pack
No, I didn't let any of that out yet because I'm not quite ready. I've been doing some really doing a lot of work with it right now, and I'm really liking it. And so, yeah, when I'm ready to drop those muleys, I'll let those out again. And then the apple tarts too. The apple tart Z, chili Z was phenomenal. And you know who did a bunch of work with the LA Kush Cakes chili was Flying Swordsman. He was been crushing it lately with a bunch of chili crosses and LA Kush Cake crosses. He's got a bunch of firework at the moment too. So yeah.
Yeah, shout out to the home Flying Swordsman. He's in the comments section on the Instagram, lighting it up, watching the live. And yeah, shout out. He said he's running the apple tarts, loves the chili. Everything is fire.
Yeah. I had a guy visit me here in Thailand from Oregon, from Ananda Farms, a couple months ago. They've got a place up there in Williams, Oregon, and they're a giant hash producing licensed facility. And they're running several of my strains. They're doing a peanut butter verde, which is peanut butter breath to chili verde, which I literally only let out like 20 clones of that, and they just happened to get one, and they're still running it 3 years later. He said it's one of their best hash lines that they have. They fucking love it. The Jungle Verde and the Runts Verde, I think, is what they're running. And yeah, that's three of their primary runners. And they're a large facility. I think they're like 50,000 square feet, all for fresh frozen product. And they dig it. So yeah, don't let the low returns on chili verde scare you, because once you start getting into the chili crosses, you can find some really good stuff to work with in there. You know, they give a little bit more, so because of the cross that you're bringing into it. I never washed straight lavender. I did wash the key lime pie at one point, but I never did wash the lavender, so I'm not sure exactly if that was a washer or not back then.
Yeah, if anybody's got a question for Eric watching the Instagram live, just drop it in the comments there, and we'll try to ask Eric your questions.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't see the comments, so just let me know.
All these seeds are going to be available next weekend at the Ridge Sesh and Cured Cup in North San Juan. Come by the Heal Thyself Gardens booth. We'll have these seeds. And then the following weekend, we'll be at Hash Hole Island in Isleton, California, between the East Bay and Sacramento. And we'll have everything that we have left, we'll have there available. And then after that, you can hit us up and we'll ship these out for you. So we've got a whole bunch of regs, a whole bunch of femmes. And yeah, Eric, we're getting down to the last couple packs here. We got the peanut butter cake back femme. Tell us about those.
Yeah, that's the collaboration from Mantis and Tech. I went through those for almost 4 years. Oh, it's been 4 years now. I've gone through those every year, and I took them up to F5s, and I was getting like that F5 selection that I had was phenomenal. Just such big, like arm size colas, still at 6-7 feet. Just massive chunky plants, and they got that really bitchin' like peanut butter OG, but some of the phenos had more of this sweet sativa overtone to them. And so yeah, I really like them, and they're great breeders, and so those are S1s from F5s, and that's peanut butter breath 87, if I'm not mistaken, to wedding cake Mac. And the wedding cake Mac came from Ancient Tech, I know for a fact. And then the seeds I was originally given to from Mantis. And he gave me those at the Emerald Cup. Oh man, it would have been the last year I've ended there, I think. 2016, 2017, no, 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. So, yeah.
Eric, I got a couple questions here. What's the longest carried clone you've ever heard of? I remember hearing of some in Amsterdam that have been around for decades, but yeah.
How long people have been holding clones for?
Yeah, what's the longest carried clone you've heard of is the question.
Personally, like 15 years. I know there was a couple guys in California that had held stuff for a long time. I personally held the lavender cut for 13 years. I gave it up 2 years ago after holding it from 2012. That was the cut that I was breeding with, and I put it away and took care of it, never gave it out, and then I blew it and gave it out, and now it's gone. But yeah, I mean, I've held them for years. It's just you have to be you have to be successive with the clone. So you're not holding, I mean, I know there's guys that may hold an individual mom for a couple years, but the plants start to degrade after time, no matter how well you take care of it. And they start to get a size issue. You can't keep cutting them back forever. So for me, it would be like a 2 cutting a year type of situation. So take clones, run them for 6 months, take clones, run it for 6 months, take clones, and just keep replacing that stock every 6 months or 9 months, whatever, running them, and as long as you're keeping that plant healthy and you're keeping it away from pathogens and viruses and bugs, you're feeding them right, flushing them right, they'll last for years. That's why a lot of these clone stock you see out there is still around, because it gets passed around and recloned and passed around and recloned, or guys hold it. Now you have tissue culture, so you don't have to do that as much. But yeah, I've heard 15, 20 years. But yeah, personally, 13 for me with the lavender.
Yeah, we've got a guy coming to hang with us this weekend at the Ridge Sesh who says he's been holding his sour diesel clone since late 90s. So that's got to be at least 25 years or so. And it'll
Yeah.
be to pick his brain and see what how he's been keeping that alive. He has already told me I cannot have the clone, so that's all.
Yeah.
Our buddy Chris wants to know if you're working your CBD gear out there in Thailand, Eric. We'd love to
No,
go.
honestly, I have not. I have not run any CBD stuff since I've been here. Um, I just haven't had the space or the money to put into it, to be honest with you, because once you start getting into that, it comes with lab testing and a lot of research and development on getting your ratios right and doing something with it. And I just haven't done anything. No, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Eric, we've been doing our part to keep it going a little bit. Your orange Harlessu, Tamara's been breeding with it for a lot of years with her CBD strains, and we grew that out this year, and I made some crosses of it. So yeah, we love your CBD gear, bro, and I hope you get a time to pick that work back up for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I would love to. And there is a market here for it, but I just don't have the ability to do small scale marketing like I did in the States. Um, there's a lot of technical difficulties for me operating here because financially, I don't have the money to just, I have to start all over again. I wasn't able to bring any of my equipment with me, only, the genetics to work with. So I don't have the machines to work with. I don't have the lab to work with. I don't have the ingredients to do anything with these products. And I don't have the ability to do marketing and sales because I don't speak Thai and I don't have a team to do that for me. So I just decided not to do that. So
Well,
yeah.
CBD is like so polluted now by all this weird, stuff from the gas station to every other place. It's hard to, for people to understand that there's quality medicine and then there's the shit you get at the gas station. And
Yeah.
10 years ago, CBD, that was it. There was CBD, and the people that knew about it were getting it and, tapped in. And now it's just, you got your aunt from Florida saying, "Hey, have you heard about CBD gummies?" And
Yeah.
it's you really get what you pay for. It's a shame.
Yeah. And which is crazy is the 7-Eleven style market CBD flooded the market here long before the small farmers got anything online, because those products were already widely available to the bigger corporations. So yeah, CBD here is is more of a niche thing for people that are looking for certain products, you know, mostly topicals, topically speaking, or RSO type things. The edible thing isn't really as big of a market here. So
Chris gave a nice shout out for your cheddar jack, and he said he's popping your old Purple Haze CBD.
oh wow. Those, man, good luck. Those seeds are very old. I hope he gets something out of those because those are really good. All that work, man. Yeah, I was really pushing a lot of that stuff back then, and God, those seeds have got to be 10 years old, I think. So good luck, bro. Good luck.
Well, he's a good grower. If anybody could get those old seeds to pop, it's him. Eric,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm popping some of your seeds from 2016 this year. Some of the old Green Candy Jack seeds.
Mhm.
Some of the
You
seeds
know,
you donated to us when we were in the old Emerald Grown Farmers Co-op. It was called.
oh wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
First met
That's
you.
all from the same time frame. Yeah, those are all really good, man. That was you remember you ran a bunch of that stuff up on the hill.
It was killer. I ran it in 2017 when my farm up at the Mendo Hideout was licensed and put all that weed into the rec market. Yeah, that herb was killer, man. I remember there was about four really distinct phenos. Couple were like huge. Couple were really stocky and short and bigger like indica buds. But yeah, every one of them was killer, man. Todd made some hash out of them, but the flower was standalone, impeccable, incredible, smokable.
I re I
Really,
remember Todd saying something about it was I don't know I think it was he said it was probably like one of the second hardest hashes he ever had to work with at that time because it would grease up at like 45 degrees. He was like, it's just so hard, but it's so good.
yeah, I remember him trying to make dry sift out of it. I think he was struggling with that for sure. Um,
Yeah.
but killer herb, man. I'm excited to get that one back in the jar on the in the head stash here. People are requesting some green ribbon stories, Eric, and I've got my own green ribbon story. But
Yeah.
we were in Green Crack for many years. We were getting the clones from Wonderland Nursery there, Kevin Jodry in Redway, and that was part of our rotation was OG, Green Crack, and Blue Dream. This was our three strains we grew for a lot of years from 2010, 11, 12, right around then,
You
and
know,
and
it,
we went to Wonderland one spring to pick up our clones, and we said green ribbon, green crack, please. And they said no more green ribbon, no more green crack, green ribbon. It's better. And we grew the green ribbon at that year, and it was killer. And yeah, tell us about that history, bro. That green crack and that green ribbon,
yeah,
and
yeah, it's kind of a weird story. You know,
tell us about the
I was work,
history as
I
well.
was working with, I was working with some Laotian dudes in like 2006, 7 when I started getting back into the weed situation, and they were growing it basically in the fields over in like Easton, Selma area, kind of going down into Laytonville, and this is in the Fresno area. And I started moving weed for them, and I really liked it. And it was I think basically what it was a green crack, and I got the cut from them, and then I crossed it to a Candy Kush, and I was just calling it Candy Crack, and the green crack had already been out. And so when I was calling it Candy Crack, it kind of got convoluted a little bit as everybody thought it was like a real green crack cross or straight green crack. Excuse me. Everybody thought it was straight green crack, and I was like, no, this is a cross. And I was holding it pretty good, and then I got decided to take a bunch of clones to a place in Central Valley, and the dude was like, oh, over in San Jose, they'll buy big lots from you at the dispensaries over there. And I was like, okay. So I ended up working out a deal to take like 1,000 clones over. And after that, I believe it got renamed Green Ribbon and got distributed everywhere. And a lot of that stock went into Sacramento area, and the Sacramento area kind of like was known for the Green Ribbon. And I kind of reached out to some people trying to like track it down, but I gave up and I was like, fuck it. And then when Kevin Jodray got a hold of it and he started working with Phylos, there was a match on it. And he was like, hey, I got your cut. I'm like, yeah, I kind of figured that's what it was. You know, I could never really prove anything. And yeah, there was a lot of guys who discount it, discredit it, whatever. And there's a lot of guys that will renamed it the short pheno of green crack. There's still guys that still call it green ribbon. I just call it a candy crack is all it was. And yeah, it was just a candy kush to green crack, I believe is what it is. I reached out to Matt Wright years ago because he was the only person I really knew that had any information about green crack. I showed it to him and he was like, yeah, this is fucking legit, bro. And so we had formed a really good relationship over that, 15 years ago. And I just kind of moved away from it. I made a bunch of crosses from it. I did the green candy Jack, which was the candy crack to Jack the Ripper green crack. And that Jack the Ripper green crack came from Drew West at West Coast Masters up in Oregon. And Drew was doing some amazing work. He's still one of my favorite breeders. And yeah, it's starting to rain outside. And so yeah, it was that's kind of the story, man. Some Laotian dudes started it all. So.
Man. Hey, I got one more pack here, Eric. This is the trifecta, the GMO by Chili Z Fem. This is there's only 2 packs left because I already took one, so you better rush if you want to get a pack of these to our booth at the Ridge Sesh next weekend.
I highly recommend those if you're doing anything, whether you're running flower or whether you're running squish. Those plants are phenomenal. And there's a really good range of phenos in it because it is an S1 between the Chili Z and the GMO. So the GMO will throw heavy gases and fuels, and then that Chili Z will still throw some fruits out of it. So right now in my garden, I'm running 3 phenos. That's all I run in my garden right now on my indoor. And I've got 3 phenos. One is straight GMO gas, but just super gas. And the other one is liquid grapes. And I'm talking like when you were a little kid and you used to get the antibiotics, liquid antibiotics for your ears, and you would get the strawberry and you would get the grape one. It smelled exactly like that, like liquid medicine grapes. And then the other pheno I have is lime fuel, like the original key lime pie. And they get massive structure, they grow huge, they get color, and they wash really good. And yeah, they throw bright blonde hash. I'm very happy with them, exceptionally.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, hell yeah, bro. Well, thanks for running through all the new gear with me.
Yeah, no problem, man. Sorry I'm not as elaborate as some of the breeders, but
No, not at all, man. You put in the work and you've got awesome genetics and been working on these incredible lines. And yeah, we're big fans of it, man. The Chili Verde has been a game changer for me, having that in my life and being able to breed with that and do my own projects with that. And super exciting, man. And now that we're making our own rosin, just it's given us a whole new appreciation for all these strains. We want to grow them all over again. And
yeah,
so really excited to get some new HBK in the stable.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
well, I hope everybody out there has a good time this weekend, enjoys themselves, be safe. Hopefully the weather's okay, yeah?
Yeah, it's looking really nice. Going to be in the 70s. We'll all be swimming in the pool and the hot tub. Should be a beautiful day.
Nice.
So that's this Saturday, May 25th, over in Nevada County in Northern California, about 2 hours from Sacramento. Famous cannabis region called the Ridge. And you can get your parking pass at tinyurl.com/the Ridge Sesh. And the only way to get directions and the address is to grab that parking pass. Once you have that, admission is free. Pack as many of your friends in that car as possible. Clown car that car out. And come find me and Tamara at the Heal Thyself Gardens booth. We'll be right by the entrance. And we'll have Eric's seeds, all the new HBK Genetics. So come and get these from me. If you can't make it to the Ridge Sesh, we will be at Hashhole Island the following Saturday, June 1st in Isleton, California. You can go to hashholeisland.com to get info and tickets for that. That's going to be another banger. So anything that doesn't sell at the Ridge Sesh, we'll have at Hashhole Island. And then after that, you can hit me up and we'll ship these out to you. So show Eric some support, show Eric some love. Get some of these seeds growing in your garden. These are some super unique genetics made by a real one. And we love you, Eric. We miss you, buddy. These events aren't the same without you. And really glad to see you making your way out there. And, I know you're fighting the good fight. It's not been easy, but you're one of the lifers and you're going to find a way no matter where you are. So I hope either things continue to get better for you out there as this big change has come through, or maybe we find you the right opportunity to spend some time back here in the U.S., but we love you. We love you.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I miss you guys too. Miss everybody, It was tough going to all these events, all the time that we do in California and the West Coast, and then coming here and just kind of not doing events anymore and not seeing anybody. So it'll be nice to get back there at some point, come visit. And so like I said, I hope everybody has a really good time this weekend. There's going to be a lot of vendors, a lot of really good companies there, a lot of good seed companies there. And I just want to let everybody know, I won't give it up too much, but the last 20-30 minutes of the trip before you get to the sesh is a really good opportunity to pull over and take some really good pictures. So I won't say any more than that, but yeah, it's the last 20 minutes of the trip coming up to the sesh is amazingly beautiful. So take your time and enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, it's a beautiful neighborhood, super beautiful property, and should be a good one for the history books. And yeah, we'll get you back and sooner than later, buddy. But you're always there in spirit with us. And
yeah, for sure. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Do another live with you. We want to know how things are going over there with the rollout and the changes in the laws, and make sure you're safe. And hopefully we can find some more good connections for you, and help things be smooth for you. So
for sure, man. For sure. I appreciate all the help. You guys don't even know how much you've helped me. So I appreciate it. You guys have a good evening or good afternoon. What time is it there? Evening, right?
Getting to be about supper time, buddy.
Yeah. I'm getting ready to head over to the market and go get some breakfast. So
Wow.
Awesome, man.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It's different, living different here. You get everything every day that you need. You don't I can go right across the street and get food. So easy.
All right, homie. We love you.
We'll see you later.
Okay. Cup.
Mhm.